Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Ibrox after what turned into one of the most horrendous nights for Rangers in their history playing in European football. 7-1 to Liverpool, which is almost hard to believe after the scoreline at half-time, which was Rangers 1. Liverpool 1, but that was a capitulation, doesn't quite sum it up. I'm just going to give a bit of a post-match reaction for what it's worth. After that, we'll have a more detailed breakdown tomorrow morning with Stevie and Derek looking back on tonight's game. I think Van Bronckhorst just said he can't explain the difference between the first and second half, and maybe that's because there is kind of no explaining to it. There is no reason. Rangers were just absolutely terrible. I think you can factor in the loss of Goldson, but to concede a Mo Salah hat-trick in 6 minutes, to fold to Liverpool pressure, having withstood it in the first half. Alan McGregor didn't really have much to do in the first half. In the second half, all he had to do was continually pick the ball out of the back of his net. And Rangers, is difficult to remember, actually went ahead in this game and started pretty promisingly. Scott Arfield scored a brilliant goal into the bottom corner. Thereafter, I thought it was kind of two sides to what went wrong for Rangers. One is that the limitations they had as a team were exposed by Liverpool, one of which for me predominantly they went long and played over Liverpool's press well in the first half, but in the second half for me that just spelled out as an inability to keep the ball, to go through the midfield, and time and again Liverpool were able to score goals, not through winning the ball high or an aggressive press, but Rangers just actually gifting the ball up to them, gifting possession. And it was the same story with the first goal. Was such a soft concession from a corner. If Rangers had got the game in at 1-0 at half-time, maybe it could have been different. Another thing, as you look at that team tonight, how much stronger is it than last year? Is it? I don't think it is, especially if you've got players like Ryan Kent, who's not in form. The big performers from last season, you take Calvin Bassey out of that, you take Joe Rebo out of that. Yes, signings take time to bed in, but Rangers Champions League campaign is already over, and it's been emphatically bad with the number of goals they've conceded. And no real signings have been able to make any contribution to that, apart from in the qualifiers when Cholak obviously got a couple of goals. He was largely absent tonight. I don't think the substitutions, maybe they should have been made slightly earlier, but ultimately it's hard to kind of explain that through anything other than a capitulation. As I say, Klopp said that it was more Liverpool than Rangers, and Rangers catching Liverpool when they were in a good moment. But I think Rangers were maybe not masters of their own downfall, but they certainly contributed very heavily to it. Liverpool absolutely emphatic as soon as they got a chance to kind of build on their lead, and it got to that point where it just felt like an inevitability that they were going to score every time they streamed forward. Where do Rangers go from here? Not only in the league, but the group stage. They've got 2 more games against Ajax and Napoli. Rangers have now scored 1 goal. I can't remember how many goals they've conceded. 3 against Napoli, 4 against Ajax, 2 against Liverpool, 7 tonight. I think that's 16. Could be wrong. Quick maths. It's got the potential to have a very, very ugly goal difference, which is already very ugly at the moment for Rangers if they don't manage to get something out of the last 2 games. But based on the performances so far, you'd say it's very difficult for that to happen. As I say, I think Connor Goldson, the manager said that he didn't know about his injury yet. Goldson obviously came off the pitch, as did Ryan Jack. But I think you could see the big hole that he left in the defence there, see how important he is to Rangers. It's one of the first times I can remember in his Rangers career him being forced off by injury. But ultimately, a night where at the end, Ibrox was shell-shocked in the first half. It looked as though Rangers might have their game that they'd waited for so long in the Champions League. But ultimately, another really damaging psychological defeat, another game in which Rangers have folded, as has been the case a few times this season. I think big questions to be asking of as I say, how can you be confident that won't happen again? Because it has happened so regularly this season. And even though European football, it's not mathematically impossible, I don't think you can have. I certainly at this point, I don't think many people would have confidence that Rangers would go and get anything out of those last 2 games as it stands. So, as I say, obviously tonight, I think the reaction to that will be one of shock, with 6 goals going in the second half. You can join us tomorrow if you want to for the morning briefing at 9:30, where we'll go through the game, what went wrong in particular for Rangers, as well as looking at the first half and kind of comparing and contrasting that, because I'm sure the numbers of shots and whatnot will be pretty stark. So you can join us tomorrow morning, 9:30, on our Facebook and YouTube channel. Until then, thank you very much.